And good morning, everybody. I want to be timely and cognizant of your time. I'm Kyle Belagopitsky, our Executive Director at New York State PTA. I'm so happy to be joined today with our new partner, Deborah Jones. They have a fantastic product, and we haven't ever had partnered with any school spirit store before. So this is a first for us. And we're really excited to kind of bring this very different in product to you guys. Deborah has been just so great to work with. As a reminder, on our website and our virtual exhibit hall, we have a K12 school clothing page there to check out. But I know Deborah is going to get into that a little bit. We're only going to be about a half hour today. And Deborah will absolutely take any questions and be available to you via email. But really wanted to introduce some of our fantastic unit leaders to this great new product. Deborah, I'm going to turn things over to you.
Great, thank you. And please let me know if my voice is coming in garbled or anything.
Nope, you're all good.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to share my screen here. I wanted to just share out a bit of information about creating a spiritware store, but then I also wanted to talk about tips and tricks. So as Kyle mentioned, I'm with K12 Clothing. I'm also the VP of fundraising for my youngest daughter's PTO and involved in the PTA at the middle school where my oldest daughter goes. And so we have really pushed spiritware this year at my youngest daughter's school as VP of fundraising. And I've got some tips and tricks from that, as well as what I hear from our customers. So can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we're good.
Awesome. So who is K12 Clothing? Well, my husband actually started the business in 2016. We lived in Montclair, New Jersey, and he was attending our daughter's PTA meeting, and somebody was talking about how they were trying to decipher parent handwriting to figure out all the different sizes ordered for spiritware. And he was like, wait, this is all done on paper? And you have to pre-order and you end up with extra product. And so he thought there's got to be a better way and created a business online that ships to parents on demand. So no more managing inventory. Parents order directly online. It ships directly to parents. It takes away the need to decipher handwriting for size orders and names and then sort it all and deal with extra inventory because it's all online. Many of our schools use it as a all year round option. Sometimes they place bulk orders for events, but have that store going all year. So it ends up being more of a passive fundraiser. In 2019, we stopped doing the printing ourselves and through partners because what we were finding was quality was really variable. And we wanted to make sure that the clothing we were providing was high quality. As you all know, there's a lot of laundry and a lot of washing of all shirts and shorts and pants. And so logos can fade quickly. And we wanted to make sure we had a uniform experience. So we actually partnered with a company called Squad Locker, who does all of our back end. So they do all the printing and shipping directly. The other thing that this allowed was a big variety of offerings in terms of apparel items, thousands of options. And then this year, as we were looking to see how we could connect with other schools, we connected with Kyle and formed this partnership with the New York State PTA, which we're excited about. We now live on the West Coast. It's back to our East Coast roots, and really excited about the partnership. So how does it work? I'm going to get you into a store in just a second so you can see, but essentially, you fill out an intake form, you upload your logos, you share your goals. So fundraising, team apparel, spiritware, whatever the case may be. We build a skeleton store for you. You jump in and you add whatever products you want. There's no minimum orders. It ships directly to parents. So let me exit out of the presentation here, and I'm just going to show you our school store. So when you log in as an admin, this is what you see. And if you see here, I can go to our school store and you can see that fundraising is on and set at 10%. You can see that we have 203 items in the store. and that the total sales have been 2903. So since we got active, just to give you some stats, last year we sold 6 orders. This year, so far, we've had 33 just from August through now. And it's all because of the cadence of communication and other things that I'm going to talk about. You can set your fundraising percentage to anything up to 15% here. Ours is set at 10, that's pretty standard. If you want to go over than that, you can. It just requires an administrator override. Most of our schools are at 10%. Some go up to 50 and some go down to 5. And then you request a payout here for your any available dollars. So if you see pending and available, pending is because those items haven't shipped yet. So the order hasn't completed. Anything available, you can request a payout. We've decided to do so every couple of months here. So we just did a payout in October, and you pay out to your PTA organization from the front end. And so your parent experience, this is what the store looks like here. Any offer codes available are up at the top. And then you see you can filter down by size or type of item. There's express production, which means the items are on hand and they ship out right away. Some of the items are more special order items, so they just take a longer time to ship. You can do a mix of items in your store, whatever works for your school community. Okay, so jumping back in. So some tips that I have found for our school and for the other PTA leaders that I've spoken to have really worked are on this page. And so we're going to spend some time here. But before we jump in, does anybody have any questions? And I can't see all of you right now because I'm on full screen on this. So please just feel free to unmute and jump in.
We can also raise hands and I can call on you, or we can type questions in the chat. Deborah, one question I have, is there any cost to PTAs to set up this portal?
Oh, that's a great question. And no, the answer is there's absolutely no cost at any point to the PTA unless the PTA places an order, and then it's the cost for that order. There's no cost to set it up. There's no cost to upload your logo. You can have up to 10 logos in a store. You can get design help on your logos. So if your logo maybe hasn't been refreshed in a while and you want to refresh it, or if all you have is a picture of a t-shirt from which happens all the time. It's like a picture of the old Spirit Wear shirt and you need to change that into an actual logo you can use. All that design support is free.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then another question. One thing I liked about this when we were kind of looking at stores to work with was the fact that, you know, my kid, I'll be honest, he's in 7th grade and he's picky. He likes Under Armour things, right? So it's my understanding, and I want you to talk about that a little bit, that you can actually have like Under Armour t-shirts.
Absolutely. That's all in my product section. Which,
oh, good. Okay. So you're going to get to that. Okay. Perfect.
I totally will. I tried to take it from
I don't see any questions so far. So why don't we go forward?
Okay. So the first tip is just to get the word out. And this seems obvious, so I wanted to dive in a little more into what I mean. It's important to get the word out when you first launch, absolutely. But we have found that keeping a blurb in our PTO newsletter, in our principal newsletter, and once a month on social media. Now, once a month is how frequently, like, it makes sense vis-a-vis how frequently we post, which is only about once a week. I think if you're a very active school on social media, you could get the word out more frequently there, but we just decided sort of a 4-to-1 makes sense. There's a great question here about payout. It's credit card payout credit card checkout for the parents. The payment is check to you as the PTA. So getting that word out on a regular basis is really helpful. Also having a booth at events. And I found that many schools ask the question like, well, we have a booth, but what are we going to show? We don't have a Spirit Wear order to hand out. What we have done recently is just a poster showing various offerings, or a QR code so that parents are walking around with their phone and they pull up the store right there and then. And the QR code, actually, we just had a booth this last weekend for our logo design contest, which I'll talk about in a minute. And, you know, parents were walking around pulling up the store on their phone. And so that is helpful to have. And jump into the chat here. Yes, so if you place a bulk order, that can be paid for via check. I believe wire transfer, although I'd have to check on that one, but definitely check and credit card for those. We have districts who have placed a large order, or schools who have placed a large order and have paid for that by check. So that after getting the word out, the second is promo codes. With K12, you get a promo code at launch. And so that's something that if you decide to start a store, you should ask for 10 to 15 to 20%, sort of depending on what you want to do at launch. And then I also suggest using promo codes. And what all you do is you ask for a promo code over the holidays. And then if you do a spring event, like I put a spring run here, but sometimes it's a walkathon, sometimes it's field day, but you can use another code then, or in conjunction with any new logo launch or other type of event. But using 3 promo codes for your own school throughout the year. And then as an administrator, you will get a newsletter from Squad Locker that includes promo codes all the time. They're usually a little more short-lived, like over a weekend or over a week, but it's absolutely something that you can throw out on social media or throw it in your newsletter. The timing tends to work out for our newsletter because our newsletter comes out Thursday and a lot of these promo codes are over the weekend. And so we throw that in there. We have other parents who just do it on their social media, and your school community can use that promo code during that time. It's usually 10 to 20% off, but usually 10 or 15, or, you know, free shipping at some threshold amount. So free shipping at $75. I got another question here. How long does it typically take from order to delivery, especially around the holidays? Great question. This year is a bit of an anomaly because, as you probably have experienced in other parts of your life, there are manufacturing shortages. And so we have found, I don't know that this is yet true of the holidays, but we have found that things are taking about a week longer right now, generally in the apparel space. Usually over the holidays, it's about 3 weeks, especially as you approach. So we encourage schools to place orders by early December. There's information that typically goes out about holiday cutoff dates. There's also the opportunity to share express shipping items and tips there, because anything that's express ship is already stored in the warehouse, ready to print pretty immediately and goes out much faster. So for express ship item, it can be, you know, 1 to 2 weeks normally versus 2 to 3. And so over the holidays, the express ship items tend to come faster. Does the promo code, I think the question there is, does the promo code impact the PTA proceeds? Think of the PTA proceeds as sort of an on top of, so it does not, it impacts the baseline price of the item and not the PTA proceeds. So the PTA proceeds would still be 10% of the order amount. Now, it does impact it in the way that the order amount is slightly lower because there has been a 10% or 20% discount applied. So rather than having a $22 t-shirt, let's say the t-shirt's now 18 or 18 down to 15, whatever the case may be, the cost to the parent of that shirt is lower, so the PTA proceeds are slightly less there, but it doesn't, like, if there's a 10% promo code, it doesn't eliminate the 10% PTA fundraising amount. If that wasn't clear, feel free to follow up in the chat. Okay, so getting the word out, promo codes. Now let's talk product. This goes to Kyle's question, but also more broadly. So there are thousands of products available on the store, and people always ask, well, what sells? What should I start with? Great question. Hoodies are big. Technical t-shirts for kids and for adults, very popular. And Under Armour. For whatever reason, Under Armour is very popular, especially among, I would say, the kind of upper elementary grades and middle school. And so getting some Under Armour products into your store is important. That brings me to the fact that there are a lot of name brand products available. So you can get a typical Champion t-shirt or Augusta t-shirt, cotton blend, pretty normal. You could also get Nike t-shirts, Under Armour t-shirts, North Face winter coats in your store. It depends. We have the variety because, as you can imagine, the Augusta t-shirt is at a different price point than the North Face jacket, and we want to make sure we are covering different price points, but all are available. A lot of popular brands in there. There's also products such as blankets, towels, cooler totes, little bags, backpacks, sports bags, cleats. I mean, it really runs the gamut. So because we have team offerings for sports teams, you can actually get a baseball bag with your school's logo. So if you know that there are certain sports popular in your area, if you know you're headed into back to school time and backpacks are being purchased, or you're at the holidays and you want some blankets and pajama pants, you can get all of those things. And we actually recommend that you update your store a couple of times a year to just add some new items. Now you can add and take away, or you can add and leave them there. Either way, but changing it up and then sharing out in your newsletter, new items added to the store, pajama pants for the holidays, is always a way to get people re-engaged. I also recommend multiple logos. Many schools have some sort of standard logo that has their mascot on it. So that's a great logo to start with. Then just getting your logo in text for something simple that reads simple across a t-shirt, reads really simple across a pair of shorts, is really helpful to give parents some variety, to give the kids new items that, you know, as they tear their shirts throughout the year, they can get a different t-shirt. But having that variety is great. You saw that when I showed our school store, there was over 200 items. That is really, I have 30 core items on there, which is what I recommend you start with. But the reason that expands to about 200 is each new color and each new logo is considered a new item. And so what we tend to do and what we recommend to other parents is to add multiple colors of a shirt and then a couple of different logos. And so that gives that variety that I was talking about, but you then have your, 30 core items. Any questions on products? And Kyle, this to you, did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think that's what I was most excited about, because I know some kids are picky. And I also like the fact that parents and families can pick from a range of prices. So, you also have, I'll say, higher end things for maybe a holiday present that is something special, as opposed to like a traditional type of t-shirt, which is much more lower cost. I kind of like that.
And since we've had some questions about bulk pricing is lower than what you see on the website. So the items on the website are a one-to-one situation. One parent goes on, orders one t-shirt, it's printed individually for that parent and shipped to them. You order in bulk, t-shirts start at $6.95, which is pretty standard vis-a-vis, the industry. And that is handled, it depends on the amount. There is no minimum order there, but the pricing starts to get closer to bulk pricing at about 24 items. Embroidered logos or silk screen is a great question. We do embroidered logos as well. When you upload a logo, the logo that is uploaded and rendered for you right there is the silk screen logo. If you do want an embroidery logo, for example, we have on hats, we have embroidered logos. We also have embroidered in our store, but also just generally out there. There are embroidered logos on polos are really common. You just have to make a logo request. So there's a chat down at the bottom. You chat in and you ask for a logo request to create a embroidered logo, because the logo does look slightly different. And that embroidered logo is then available for all products with embroidery. Products are either silkscreen or embroidery, so you do have to choose embroidery products. Polos, hats, it's common stuff that you think of. What is the typical shipping cost? It is $7.95 is pretty standard. If you get a really large order, you know, it can vary. There are always thresholds at which shipping is free, and those thresholds can vary throughout the year, but that's usually a promotion that will come out. When parents want to buy just a single shirt, we sometimes tell them, like, team up with a friend and place one order for a few shirts, because that $7.95 remains pretty steady over a few shirts, or to meet that order threshold. Also, one of the reasons for the promo code at launch is it does cover that shipping cost when parents are purchasing a couple of items. Now, last is to have some fun with spirit wear. One of the things that we've seen really effective across schools for community engagement, let alone for spirit wear, that's just a side benefit, is Spirit Wear Fridays. And so this doesn't necessarily mean that everybody at your school has to purchase spirit wear at all. It is really just wearing your school colors on Fridays. The kids get really into it. And it is a way that you can share with parents, you know, spice up your Spirit Wear Friday wardrobe, shop at the school store, so you can tie it into your social. And it can be a nice tie-in. Our principal at our school has gotten really into it. I've seen great pictures from other schools where their teachers wear spirit wear items, spirit wear masks. The kids are all in the same color. It makes for some really fun pictures for the yearbook at the end of the year. And, you know, if it happens to sell more spirit wear, great, but it's a great way to re-engage the community, especially now being back in school. I know that in New York schools, we're in a similar situation to California, which is this year is a little more back to normal for most kids, not all. But the Spirit Wear Fridays also has the benefit of online. If any of your students are still in a remote situation, they can still wear their school colors and it's visible on camera, and you can have that connection both distance and in person. Another thing that we've seen a lot of schools do is use Spirit Wear as a prize for other events. So free t-shirts. This can be in a bulk order, or it can also be in a coupon code for an individual student to go order spirit wear. And so you can get like a gift certificate kind of thing that you share with a student who has read the most minutes for a readathon, or who has fundraised the most for a walkathon, or whatever the case may be. But using it as a prize. We actually have used it as teacher appreciation. So we've used our funds from our Spirit Wear store to cover the price of a logoed mask for all teachers at our school, and used it as part of our teacher appreciation. The recording will be on I know there will be a recording available. Kyle, will it be on the PTA website?
Yeah, so we're going to put it right on the leaders section, you know, where we keep our webinars, and we'll post it to the Facebook leaders page too, and send it out to you guys as leaders in email.
Perfect. Finally, doing a logo contest. This one is really top of mind for me because I had heard about it from other schools, and they had shared it as a way to boost Spirit Wear, but we just did it. We actually are announcing the finalists tomorrow and Thursday, or the winner, I should say. We announced the finalists. So this is a way to either revamp your school logo, period, or to get an additional logo up in the store. But you ask the students to create a logo, and you can give them some guidelines, colors, etc., or just freeform, you know, do something that represents your school. And you ask them to submit the logo. And then you select some group of finalists. We chose 5 finalists. We had 100 students vote at our fall carnival, just on a little piece of paper. And we have a winner for another logo in the store. The winner receives a t-shirt, but they also are going to partner with me in selecting what items their logo is on in the design process. So I'm going to ask for design support, and they're going to help in the review of that design to make sure that the rendering matches their artistic vision. And then they will select their products. So they will be part of the experience and learn a little bit about what looks good on shirts and pants. And I think it'll be a fun experience. And so if anybody has any interest in running this at their school, I have template flyers, I have all of that. So feel free to reach out to me directly. It's top of mind, and I can send you Canva links for everything that I created. But it was a lot of fun. The kids had class time to drop their logos, and it was a success. All right. To the extent you need any additional resources, I'll get to these questions in just a second. We have a blog that has a lot of tips and tricks. I try and focus on practical tips of questions I've heard from PTA leaders. And so there's a blog, we have a podcast that has the same information. It's 10-minute listens typically, and it's how-tos for this or that. We've got how to run a penny war as an example. So little things, if you're ever looking for ideas and you want just a quick read or listen, feel free to go to our resources page. If you have any suggestions of things you want us to research and write about for you, also feel free to send that. We're always looking for new ideas, and especially if it helps with your PTA, we're happy to do it. Oh, that's just my email. That is true. That is my email. Thanks, Kyle.
You're welcome.
And if you want to learn more about starting a store, we have a landing page for New York State PTA. This is it. So it's just k12clothing.com/NYS PTA. So feel free to go there. Use my email if you have any specific questions, or we have a couple of minutes here to answer anything that we haven't answered throughout the presentation. All right, not seeing anything. Thank you, everybody, for being so engaged. I really appreciate it. And absolutely, if you want templates for anything, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And we'll post this and send this out to unit leaders. Sephora, thanks for this fantastic half hour. I love the tips and tricks. I know all units really struggle with their own school spirit wear stores. I know our unit does in my school. So, we're still trying to get away from the paper and going to an online store. So I'm really excited about this.
Well, thank you, everybody.